Welcome to Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont for another USL2 Northeast Division matchup as Vermont Green FC host Blackrock FC with Matt Montel. I'm Brian McLaughlin. Happy to have you with us for this Sunday afternoon matchup. And Matt, Vermont Green are top of the table. 4 games left in the regular season, but they are in a great place at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly kind of how you would envision and draw up almost like the actual season. When you're thinking about it in preseason as you're gearing up and getting ready in practice, you're like, it's not going to probably be win after win after win. And it started that way a little bit, but then there was a couple slip-ups against Seacoast the first time around, against Western Mass, and those were kind of the games that were probably chalked up as going to be the most difficult. But overall, I would say that Vermont Green has won pretty much the matches that they're expected to win, especially with how well they've recruited, how well they've been playing for it. So I think there's nothing like lucky about where they are right now. This is very deserved.
And looking at this side, we're going to break down the entire starting 11 for both Vermont Green and Blackrock FC, as well as a pre-match interview with head coach Adam Pfeiffer. But, Matt, they're coming off a monster 2-1 win on the road at Seacoast. Musa Ndiaye and Nate Jones stood out in that back line. That's a pairing that have become prolific amongst the back group.
I didn't actually necessarily expect Ndiaye to, permanently almost get put at the back line. I knew that he could do a job, and he looked really good there, but I also thought that his services might be needed at, the base of the midfield for it. And, it's been absolutely, like you said, rock solid, that back four from there, that I wouldn't change it at this point. Right now, I'd say if it's working and it's keeping, most of the shots out of the goal and really shielding in front of Schnurr or Christofferson, then why change it? Don't fix it if it ain't broke.
Speaking of that, Yaniv Bazzini, 5 goals and 2 assists in 3 matches, simply undroppable at striker.
Yeah, I mean, he took absolutely no time. It's like he got off the bus and then he's like, all right, well, where's the goal? And he has not stopped scoring. It's been wildly entertaining and kind of just absolutely shocking. It's like, I understand that he's really quality, but sometimes it takes a game, maybe 2 games, get warmed up. We have no idea what necessarily – we'd have to ask him, be like, was there anything you were doing before you got here to kind of be ready for this, or are you just I just put my boots on and I'm gonna go fire a couple in?
That's how it seemed from Yaniv Bazzini. Underneath him, that attacking trio in the midfield, we've seen a lot of rotation amongst that group, different players filling in different roles in that area. How has that helped maybe the attack throughout the season?
I think it's probably made life easier for Adam to rotate that, specifically across that 3 just beneath the number 9 position, so to speak. So D'Agostini, Tellez, Zengi, Kamal.
DR being early in the year.
DR being, when I remember the first 3 weeks or the first 3 matches, I didn't think DR would ever get dropped or, he would get every single minute for it. But then you got to remember that this is also time for all of these players, most of this roster, to stay fit for their college programs, to also potentially get noticed by, higher levels, such as the MLS, USL1. That 3 just beneath the number 9, I think it's actually a good thing that you're able to kind of rotate. Nobody's necessarily been so dependent on and been levels above that if they don't play, all of a sudden the whole team doesn't look well or isn't gelled. It's kind of you can just rotate through it and it works.
Clouds are starting to break behind us. We've got the match coming up in just a few moments. So for now, stay tuned. Coming up next, my sit down with head coach Adam Pfeiffer. Welcome back to the Vermont Green FC pregame show ahead of today's match with Blackrock FC, now joined by Vermont Green's head coach Adam Pfeiffer. Coach, it's another rainy day at Virtue Field, but back at home coming off the big win against Seacoast United, and that took you to the top of the league. Just how big did that win feel?
Yeah, that win was fantastic. We were, that was a long time coming. We were 0-3 against them, and to get a win on their field was obviously a good feeling and puts us in a great spot for the run-in.
You guys went up 2-0 at halftime. You give up the late goal to make it a 2-1 final. But overall, assess the performance of your team. The win was obviously huge, but how did you feel like the guys played?
I thought we played really well. I thought we were, pretty in control of the game right from the start. So obviously the goals, help, that comfort level. But no, I think it was, really good professional performance on the road. timely goal at the end of the half, and obviously annoying to concede at the end of the game, but again, like we were never in any trouble. I don't think. Like we played really well.
Entering today's match, you are currently tied with Western Mass with 24 points, but a game in hand. 3 teams, it feels like, battling for 2 playoff spots right now. It's coming down the home stretch. What are your feelings like and overall thoughts as we enter this real part of the season where every point matters?
Yeah, I think, for us, it really is kind of, one day at a time, and just trying to manage and focus through each moment, and hopefully the players aren't looking ahead. Like we know what's on the horizon here, but this team has some really good players and that we're playing against, and so it's football. Anything can happen. So we've got to find a way to get through this one today.
Every week the USL2 comes out with the power rankings, ranking the top 15 teams in the league. It's obviously something that is not based on stats, just something that people are putting together. Nobody in the Northeast Division appears in that list this week. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you pay any attention to a nationwide power ranking like that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that the competition level varies so much from division to division that, none of us really know. I mean, we went to Lionsbridge last year. They were number 1 in the country, and, we didn't walk away from that game being like, that team was better than Western Mass or Seacoast, or the teams we had played, during the course of the season. But again, it's just each division's different. It's so regional, and should there be somebody from the Northeast Division? Probably, but whatever. It is what it is, and we'll see how our teams do when the playoffs start. I mean, I think last year each Northeast team won their first round playoff game, so
Yeah.
Looking at last year's team and this year's team, obviously wildly successful a year ago, feels like you're somehow even deeper this year. You have even more options to choose from. We've talked before how that can be hard for you to kind of pick an 11, pick an 18 to dress on game day. But on the other side, how comfortable does it make you to know if I need to call on some of these guys that are out practicing right now, you have lots of quality up and down the lineup that you can rely on if needed?
Yeah, for sure. I think, the biggest thing that having that kind of depth does is that it creates a really intense and competitive training environment, and really that's the important thing for these guys as players as they're preparing for college seasons and hopefully showcasing themselves here to be professionals. So it does come with its downside though of some. There is friction that's created because of that, but that's competition, and that's
right.
what they're going to deal with when they get into professional environments, and a lot of them will be in those environments. So it's all good learning experiences.
Somebody I want to ask you about specifically, we've talked a lot about Yaniv Bazzini and the points he's been able to put up in a limited time, but Giorgio Probo in the midfield, all of a sudden leading the team with 4 assists. It feels like he is in the mix of so many parts of your dangerous attacking moments. What have you seen from Giorgio in his time in the green?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously his vision and ideas, but really, his passing range is ridiculous. So, his passing range is legitimately high level professional kind of passing range. So, he's fantastic. We enjoy having him, and we just try to, give him the freedom that he needs to be able to make decisions and find spaces on the field to showcase the things that he does really well. So, I'm hoping we'll see that again today.
You guys beat BlackRock FC 2-0 on the road. What can we expect from their side today?
Yeah, they've got some new players in the team that weren't with them then. A kid named Liam Doyle. It's an attacking player, plays at Stanford. He's fantastic. He caused us a lot of problems last year. No, they're good. They're well coached. They're organized. So it's going to be difficult.
Coach, I appreciate the time. Good luck today.
All right, thank you.
The home stretch of the USL League 2 season is upon us. That's the end of our pregame show. Back in the broadcast booth, Brian McLaughlin and Matt Montel with you as Vermont Green FC hosting BlackRock FC. And Matt, I'm happy to be back with you after getting to travel to Seacoast United to see the big Vermont Green win. I'll tell you what, I missed your analysis throughout that entire match. I missed our whole production crew, but really I wanted your thoughts throughout the course of that one. Great to be back with you in the booth today, buddy.
Yeah, it was unfortunate I couldn't catch the match. It was kind of annoying that I was like, oh, this is Seacoast. They should at least have a stream. But kudos to you for going down and doing a radio broadcast, man. That's impressive. That's not easy.
I had a blast. I'm so glad people were able to enjoy it along with me. It was a monster 2-1 win for Vermont Green FC. Mm-hmm. And because of that victory, Vermont Green FC goes to the top of the table. And they have a really good spot right now, Matt, as we enter that final 4 matches of the season. Look, they're even on points right now with Western Mass, but a game in hand on the Pioneers and 2 points clear of Seacoast United. They're in a good spot, but still can't afford to drop any points down the stretch.
Yeah, at best I would call it just like a cushion at most, but it's still kind of that cliche is like these are must wins, especially against Black Rock right now. It's like this has to be a must win in their minds because, we don't know how it's going to go for the rest of the matches either today. Is there any more today? That I hadn't looked at the schedule for it, but
there's one other match today. It is Seacoast United at Albany Rush. So Seacoast playing this afternoon.
Exactly, and you don't know if there might be an upset for Seacoast on that, so you need to take advantage of this and get a must-win from here, and I think there's going to be a couple things that, are going to matter towards the end of it, like we were talking about, is you're going to want a clean sheet, honestly, because if you're looking right now at the standings, the goals against, the goals for, it's actually pretty close right now at the top 3, and that actually could be the decider if you're just tied on overall points from there.
2 playoff places on the line amongst 3 teams, and those 3 teams separated by a razor edge margin. Yeah. And Vermont Green still have to go to Western Massachusetts, making today's match even more important. It's a must get the 3 points.
Yeah, increase the cushion now so that maybe there's a little bit less of kind of that pressure that it's a must-win when you go to Western Mass. You want to give it so that, okay, worst-case scenario, maybe we can actually get a draw at Western Mass if it's a really back-and-forth, tough, dogged match. That way, you've given yourself some insurance.
The boys in green led out by Captain Jake Ashford in his return to the starting lineup. We'll break down the Green 11 in just a moment, but now for the visitors in their sky blue uniforms, although today's sky is quite gray overhead, but the rain has subsided for now. How about I run through the starting 11 for today's visitors? Black Rock FC, who you just saw enter in 7th place with 10 points at 2-5-4. They're setting up in a 4-3-3 formation with Pablo Costa starting in net. Costa making his 5th start. He's had 2 shutouts in 4 games started so far this year, including a shutout of the Western Mass Pioneers. So this is a goalie who's had big performances throughout this season. Going to be interesting to see how Green test him in net. The back 4, Heian Sung Jang starting at left back. Koki Hamada in the left center spot. Julio Beitar has started every match on the back line for Black Rock. He gets the start at right center back. And Lucas Muther, who plays for Kenyon College, starting at right back. The trio in the midfield are Jordan Perryman, Jethro Didi, and Sam Knopf. Then up top, Jordan Schellenberger, a talented high schooler who's from Vermont, starts on the left side of their attacking trio. Liam Doyle might be this team's star. You heard head coach Adam Pfeiffer mention Doyle in our pre-match interview. Doyle, the striker from Stanford, who scored once across 5 matches this year. And then Mohammed Tall on the right-hand side of the attacking line of Black Rock's 4-3-3 formation. Well, that's the starting 11 for Black Rock. Matt, how about you walk us through what you've seen in the Vermont starting 11 today?
We mentioned kind of the back line from Jones and Ndie. That's just kind of a partnership that you can't break up right now. It's been very, very solid. It has a lot to do, actually, with why Vermont has seemed almost comfortable getting to the top of the division right now. So credit to them. But Ashford and Threadgold also very much a part of that success in that back line. Threadgold kind of actually right now I put a little star next to his name because I think that he offers such a threat going forward. And like we were discussing, sometimes you're not necessarily getting an assist or maybe you're not actually getting, your crosses on the end for it. But if you're constantly a problem so high up in that attacking third that the right back for whatever opposition that's playing for him, that means that they have to cover for them. That means they have to sit within their defensive third more, and they have to think about him more, so it's very difficult to go forward. And then all of a sudden, whatever plan you had in attack, it all of a sudden changes and it's more kind of counter-attacking looking because you're spending so much time trying to hold that. And then when you get the ball, you're like, all right, time to run, time to get forward.
And on the bench today, I'm looking at Chris Myers, potentially making his debut, the third of 3 Washington Huskies who start along the Washington back line. That Washington team were number 2 in the country for much of the year. And Alfredo Bozalongo looking to potentially make his season debut after appearing 12 times in the midfield a year ago for Vermont Green FC. You're getting a look at Gabe Threadgold, the former Seattle Sounders Academy product, and Giorgio Probo, who had quite the youth academy career in Italy. Matt, I was really had my eyes opened by Probo at Seacoast United, and I talked about it with Coach Pfeiffer in the pregame. His vision is unlike, I think, anything we might have seen in our 2 years watching these Vermont Green sides.
I've been thoroughly impressed and actually a little bit surprised because I didn't know a lot about him. But then after watching him now for about the last month for it, he seems incredibly calm. That's just like one of those characteristics that you don't actually always see in the center midfield. Sometimes it's all fire and brimstone, throwing in tackles. Like, it's not that Ferreira isn't calm, but Ferreira is a completely different type of midfielder versus Probo. And Probo has this very good vision, and he has an incredibly good drive on his ball. Like, when he drives these long passes for it, would almost look like it hoofs. It actually just like falls off the proverbial dinner table right in front of where he needs it. I saw the goal, the cross that he had for off the corner kick, and it was perfect. I could see that he picked out Bazzini right for that, and it literally was pinpoint perfect. So it's nothing's luck with him.
Of course, Bazzini with the pair of goals against Seacoast United. How can we not talk about the Israeli international who has taken the Northeast Division by storm? And look, he has earned this spot in the starting lineup, Matt. After we saw Nacho Larache have so much success, Nacho is still second in the division in total goals scored. But right now, unfortunately for Nacho, he is second choice behind a guy like Bazzini, who is just putting up monstrous numbers.
Yeah, you can't drop like a striker when they're in that much form, that hot for it. And I think I get it that, Nacho also was in really good form for it, but Bazzini offers a little bit of kind of like a different prospect up top versus what Nacho is. And I think Nacho has definitely talents and characteristics that are good for like certain moments in matches, like certain periods of time, maybe like these 30-minute stretches for it. But somebody like Bazzini, who constantly is creating these runs, like these diagonal runs across the back line and pulling their shape apart, which is leading to actually goals getting spread out amongst the team versus kind of maybe like Nacho almost seems like he could play like an outside left forward. He likes to start wide and then drive in for it, which is fine. It's just I think Bazzini fits in just maybe a little bit better right now as a true false nine.
Vermont Green FC and Black Rock FC meeting for the second time this year. Nacho Larache got one of the goals down at Black Rock FC, while Dennis Kruchenkov and Gavork Diarbian scored the pair of goals against Black Rock FC in their first meeting. Kruchenkov not available off the bench today. Neither is Diarbian. It's two sides that look completely different from their first matchup. We've mentioned the new attacking options that Vermont Green have. Liam Doyle leading the line for BlackRock, a potent scorer who scored 5 times this year for Stanford. He can be a big threat to the Vermont Green back line.
It'll be a good test. It'll be a good test for Indiana Jones to see, to deal with him, and this is going to be like a difficult prospect. So
Daniel Pacella getting set to put us underway, and Vermont Green FC ready to take on BlackRock. There's an early long ball from Probo. Didn't take him much to knock one to Bazzini's head. Pacello battling with Mohamed Tal. One backwards to the right back, Lucas Muther. There's left back Hyun-Sung Jang, who was put under pressure by Fedi Tejas, the Northeastern man, back in the lineup.
He just put in an absolute shift, burning run to put pressure on that. You can see that, all right, they're going to start at a high pace, a high press for it.
Jang walking up the line, takes the throw in. Skips over Jake Ashford. Good to see Ashford back in the lineup. It's been a bit of an odd summer for Ashford, the captain when he's in the 11. But he's become a bit of a second choice at his preferred position of center back to Ndie and Jones. Tells you a lot about him and his versatility that he's shifted to that right back spot and played there pretty well when he's been asked to.
Something tells me I don't think he necessarily cares either, too. This is actually might be more enjoyable for him just because he gets to get involved in the attack. He's like, maybe I can get some shots off, maybe get some assists.
It's a green throw in along the, or excuse me, an early foul along the far side. Ashford ready to put it back in play. BlackRock FC have lost back-to-back matches. They just played on Friday, so a quick turnaround for BlackRock. A 1-0 loss against Seacoast United. Tea's unable to bring that ball down from Jones. Scooped up by the speedy left back Jang. He started on Friday against Seacoast. We'll see how that affects this BlackRock side, having just played 2 days ago. Vermont Green getting a bit longer stretch off after their match against Seacoast United on Tuesday, playing on this Sunday afternoon. Hard to believe there's only 4 matches remaining in the USL2 regular season.
Yeah, it flew by.
It really did. We've got one friendly upcoming as well here at Virtue Field with Juba Star FC in town. Probo joining the back line with Ndie and Jones, and there's the first look at Nathan Schnurr. Cut out before it could reach Kamal. It finds the feet of Sam Knopf.
I like that, seeing Probo actually coming deep and getting the ball, like taking the ball from the defense, but also Pacella does the same. So those two actually share that role. You'll see one of them will get forward a little bit. Maybe if you lose possession, they kind of stay just a little bit forward. One of them's covering for it, but they both kind of share that same, like almost a quarterback role, so to speak, from very deep.
Ricochets off of Doyle on his first attempted touch. Ashford was on his back. And the Green Mountain boy captain throws it up the line for Tejas. Quite the turn from Pacella. He's really another of those just very consistent contributors.
Yeah, he definitely believes in his game. He doesn't look nervous ever.
Oh. Just too far in front of Threadgold from D'Agostini. The captain for BlackRock FC, Jethro Didi, who operates in the center midfield, has ranged out wide to help defend. A graduate from St. Lawrence College, so a bit on the older side, Didi, but he has been one of their steady contributors this year, making his 7th start.
Great outside of the boot pass from Ashford there to break into the midfield. And, if Kamal gets that touch for it, they're immediately looking this one pass into the 18 to possibly get a shot on goal.
Probo's turn to work centrally. Spins it for Tejas. Tejas squaring up with Jang. The double team comes with Knopf. Tejas splits the defense. Now Probo in the box. Lays it back for Tejas. Harsh tackle comes in just to disrupt Tejas on his left.
Tejas did not ask for a foul, so it seemed like it was pretty clean too, looking at it. But
Pacella just took some spikes to the back with Mohamed Tall coming in from behind.
Pacella gets up after that heavy challenge.
There's the tackle on Tejas.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from it, but he didn't. He
got right back up.
He didn't plead his case to the referee there. So
how about the little back heel from Probo? I was ready for him to take the shot. He wants the assists more than the goals, it feels like. Pacella roaming forward. Another strong tackle from Mohamed Tall.
Yeah, so far a lot of challenges going to ground.
Into the 5th minute. Neither side test either keeper. This is Pablo Costa, who plays at Lindsey Wilson College, 5th start of the summer. Has split time mostly with Ben Wolfinger from St. Lawrence. And Julio Betar, the regular, has started every match on the back line. Asking for Jordan Schillenberger to chase. Nate Jones had it covered. He'll use Schnurr. Schnurr, who has continued to share action with Nick Christofferson, has 4 shutouts in 6 starts this year. 3 of his 4 goals allowed were against AC Connecticut in that very weird 6-3 game.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a case of it seemed like the game was so over that you dial it back a little bit and you kind of not lazy, but necessarily like you got complacent, and then sure enough.
Probo's ball perfectly for Kamal, who drops it. Kamal starts to dance. He reverses again. Kamal whips it across, but Betar gets in front. Now BlackRock will look to break through Schillenberger. And Mohamed Tall down the end line, but Probo recovers.
Schellenberger needed Doyle to run diagonally across there. You could see him. He picked his head up, and he actually had it. He could have gotten it down into that right side, down that channel for it, but Doyle never made the run, and then he had to look back, and Vermont kind of sniffed it out right away and won the ball back.
Tay has a heavy touch. Jang bombs it off of him. Costa keeps it in play with his feet, right along the end line. Well, there is a rotation amongst that attacking midfield group today for Vermont Green. Bilal Kamal in the lineup once again after starting against Seacoast United. Both Tejas and D'Agostini came off the bench against the Phantoms. They earned the start today, replacing Zach Zangi, who's available off the bench. Dylan Lane will earn a full rest this afternoon. Going to be interesting to see how those guys kind of move in and out, Matt. We've seen Kamal already come outside once or twice with D'Agostini just shifting to the middle.
Yeah, generally, that those three that cross the attacking midfielders, between Kamal Tellez and D'Agostini, it should be pretty fluid. Like, nobody's locked into, like, these, little sections of the field. As the play kind of actually goes out, you'll start to see, Kamal might start actually like wide, and D'Agostini then sees that he's already got the ball, so then he kind of takes a different space to help in and like join the attack, create like those 2v1s. You should be seeing that throughout the whole match between those three.
Ashford working his way up the right-hand side, earns the Green a throw-in. He'll take it for Tejas. Federico Tejas back for Kamal. Wide for Probo. And the Green maintain possession. They drop for Ndie and Nate Jones. Forward for his Washington Husky teammate Gabe Threadgold. Working on Mohamed Tall. There's the striker Bazzini. That's nice over the top. Threadgold can cut it back. It gets through D'Agostini. Sam Knopf on the back end collects for Blackrock, but a good ball across from Threadgold.
And I really like seeing Bazzini come in and actually create that. He gets the ball from Threadgold and then does a beautiful little flick over, and then, Threadgold takes a touch. Great little driven cross back across right here. You can see this. Picks his head up, and he doesn't just throws it. He doesn't just throw the ball into there. He actually tries to pick out a pass diagonally back across the 18. It's a great play. It's just unfortunate nobody could get their foot on it.
And the Green have earned a corner. The big men are forward. Ashford, Ndie, and Jones joining in Yves Bazzini. Probo's ball across off the forehead of Ndie. Just got a bit underneath it.
Yeah, needed to jump just a second earlier.
It feels like they have a real advantage in the box with those big boys, including Ashford. When you have three backs who are all basically center backs joining a striker who can win the ball in the air like Bazzini, they are just towering inside that penalty area.
Well, I've noticed, too, that the technique off of the actual corner kicks who are taking them, it's not these kind of like these whipping balls that, like either go outward or inward. They actually drive under it, and so it's almost flat, but they're trying to pick that back post, like that little, the back section of the 6-yard box, for one of the taller players to come in and attack and then, try to get a shot off.
And that's often Giorgio Probo, who's just able to figure out exactly how to get the ball to the person he wants. Ashford unable to keep it in play in the Green defensive portion. Blackrock back in play quickly. And Knopf knocks it off of Tejas, another throw in for the visitors. A Blackrock team that are very good on the road. This year, they've taken 8 points away from home. They only have 2 points all season playing in home games. It's been a very weird year in the Northeast Division. Road teams have had tons of success. That ball thumped deep. Threadgold's chasing, along with Mohamed Tall. Tall wins the foot race and drops it for Didi. Actually, that's played by Muther. And now the left-sided center back, Hamada. Off of Jang and Didi. Blackrock settling the ball nicely.
Yeah, they're having a little spell of possession now. This is the first of the game where they've actually had the possession in the attacking third.
Knopf picks out Doyle, but Probo takes it right off of him. Marked by Pacella, and Probo says thank you very much. And Tejas is fouled.
Green then pick up a foul.
Unnecessary foul. Honestly, you had there wasn't many options to actually play out of there. That's when, if you're out of possession, you just lost the ball, you want to try to contain it and then force the error, not draw the foul.
This Green side, winners of 3 games in a row. Nate Jones has been a big part of that, stabilizing the back line. He and Musa and DA have formed a powerful duo. DA's ball for Tejas. How did he bring that down?
Impressive.
Bazzini looking for the deep ball across. It will chase Felipe D'Agostini. That ball pops towards Gabe Threadgold. Jockeying with Muther, but the foul going against Threadgold. He's feisty, that one.
He gave just a little push down on Muther there.
Not the biggest man. Gabe Threadgold listed at 5'7".
But he is absolutely rapid.
The pace that he possesses down the left-hand side. 4 assists for him for Washington in the fall. A Washington Husky team that were actually upset by Creighton early on in the NCAA tournament. Matt, that game featured 7 Vermont Green players.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right.
Washington rose to as high as number 1 in the country throughout the season. Jones, Threadgold, and potential right back or right-handed winger today, Chris Myers, were a really big part of the Husky success. Muther switches it nicely for Jang. That ball towards Doyle. Jones had him covered shoulder to shoulder. Probo outlets for D'Agostini. So quick with the ball on his feet. Just eventually ran into trouble on the tackle from Didi. I heard one of the coaches describe Felipe D'Agostini as somehow extra Brazilian.
He does have an absolutely incredibly good close touch on his dribble, as you can clearly see.
Some trouble out of the back as Ashford's pass picked out by Doyle. But Ashford gets the tackle in on Knopf.
Game's starting to even out a little bit between possession. There was the first, maybe 8 minutes, Vermont Green FC were kind of keeping the ball around that attacking third now. It's shifted. It's going a little bit back and forth. It hasn't turned into that basketball match where it's just counterattack versus counterattack versus counterattack. Both teams are kind of sharing that spells of possession.
That free kick going against the Green as Threadgold ended up on the ground, but they say he got in the way of Muhammad Tall. You're right, Matt. This has been, over the last 10 minutes, quite balanced.
Yeah, not something that we've actually seen in the last couple of home matches where you've seen Vermont Green dominate the possession and try to create chances over chances. And so far, it's just been once in the first 15 minutes versus some of the matches we've seen. It's been 4 or 5 chances in the first 15 minutes.
The Green settling into this one. It's the top side in the Northeast Division, Vermont Green, against 7th place side Blackrock FC. 4 games remaining in the regular season. There is a lot on the line. Tall will take the set piece. Schnurr comes out and claims it cleanly. Good hands from Schnurr, very calm. Tall steps on Probo. The press from Blackrock win it back. Liam Doyle gets it on his right and has a smash. Schnurr was never worried, but that had some real zip on it from Doyle.
I don't know. I watched Schnurr on that shot. That was definitely going to be under the bar, so it was definitely the right level for it. I saw him take a look. He looked a little worried about it, but that's a warning sign right now. Trying to play out of the back and losing possession sort of easily. It's time to clean it up a little.
Unlike this combo in the back between Pacella and Probo and a back line that have been so consistent, rare to see them struggle to work the ball out of the back. Probo's pass again picked off from Tejas and beaten by Doyle. There's Pacella on the cover and a good tackle to win it back. That might be what Daniel Pacella does best, those little moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you don't have too long to think, sometimes you don't want too much time to think. I know I personally don't. I just want to react.
Bazzini loses out to Muther. And here's Tall again picking it up for Blackrock. Tall forced backwards by Pacella and tackled out by Pacella. It is a Blackrock throw.
And Daniel Pacella tackle, puts the ball out, play for the Blackrock throw in.
This is a Blackrock FC side. They're young. Not all of them play at the big-time colleges like Doyle at Stanford, but many of them have been playing together for a long time. Many of them went to Northwoods High School together in the Blackrock FC area. They've been growing up together. It's a very familiar group. A big part of how they have success at this level.
Yeah, especially if you do train and have an emphasis on having possession and not playing just as a counterattacking team. You know, growing up with so many familiar faces and players that you've played with for a while for it makes it a lot easier to try to implement a system like that.
Again, a bit of a dangerous moment as Doyle made a good drive forward. His pass was eventually behind his intended target. Pacella, a through ball for Kamal, and now the Green have some space. Kamal finds D'Agostini, lays it off for Bazzini. His left-footed shot was blocked. Well defended by Koki Hamada. But for the first time in a while,
yeah,
that was a good look for the Green.
Yeah, that was a great ball from Pacella, just breaking that line. That was kind of what you were seeing. It was a little difficult for that 10 minutes there. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that quality just to break those lines, look for those passes from it. But that was a great run from Kamal, too, seeing that little opening just behind the right back.
We haven't seen Kamal and that attacking midfield on the ball much, Matt. Are they getting marked differently at all so far?
Yeah, so far right now you're seeing BlackRock are doing a really good job of actually like marking their man and taking, so everything seems to be going backwards for the most part. That's the first time, or maybe like the second time where I've been able to see the midfield be able to pass a ball that leads their man, and then instead of them having to always go back. But I mean, look at Kamal right now.
Yeah,
Ndidi is marking him pretty tight, and then if he's not, he's saying, okay, fine, you're out wide there where you're not a threat.
Yeah, Kamal being completely man marked by Jethro Ndidi in the midfield. Pacella wins it back and now is able to find the feet of Kamal. Gabe Threadgolds evades one tackle and Pacella one-times it back for Jones. He quickly pings it for Ashford. Let's see if the Green can move it side to side, but Ashford, a loose touch, loses it for a BlackRock throw.
Another packed house, Brian.
It is a sellout. Despite some drizzling rain coming down, fans have their rain gear out.
Well, we've seen it packed even when it was pouring, so you don't ever count Vermont fans out when it comes to weather. It could be a hurricane or snow or anything like that. They'll still be out.
A full 2,500 in attendance this afternoon. A free kick coming here for BlackRock. So far they have weathered the storm quite well. Their captain, Jethro Ndidi, a big part in the midfield. And you can see just on the far side of the pitch, head coach Adam Pfeiffer maybe giving some direction to his side. It's been rare to see Vermont Green stifled like this, where they've had maybe one or two minor chances, but nothing major to this point. And there's a giveaway. Doyle picks it up after the ball got by Pacella. Doyle's attacking in DA. Skips around Pacella, taken down on the edge of the box, and the referee says no foul.
Just inch perfect. I had a little heart and mouth moment there, just a little bit, but that was inch perfect. He clipped the ball just enough. But, yeah, I think Adam's obviously going to want more control in the center of the field right now, because so far it's been really difficult to put, 5-6 passes together.
He's working with his coaching staff that features Chris Taylor of Plattsburgh, Ruben Iarna, who played with Coach Pfeiffer at Boston College and now coaches at BC, Stage Davis, who works with Coach Pfeiffer at Norwich. They're putting their heads together, that brain trust, really trying to figure out how to take advantage of BlackRock so far. Jang beats Ashford to it. It will be a Green throw. But some of those side-to-side big switches of play, or excuse me, it's a BlackRock throw. Those big switches of play are just not there at all at the moment.
He could roll the dice a little bit and have just essentially switched that center of the field to actually have maybe like Pacella sitting deep and having Probo and Kamal kind of one of them join in front of Pacella. And that way you actually have to push Tellez and D'Agostini wide, so that makes the entire BlackRock FC's backline have to actually stretch out further, which opens up more lanes for a Bazzini.
The Green are slowly working the ball up the field. They've gotten their high back line all the way up to the midfield marker. But again, Probo's pass just off the mark from Tellez. Tellez able to get back on it, but he loses out along the touch line to Hyunsong Jang. Jang so far has had Tellez under control pretty comfortably.
Yeah, he's done a really good. Oh,
there was a poor touch. Now Bazzini can come centrally. Bazzini takes a try with his left, and Costa collapses on it to his left.
But outside of just that one little error for it, I think actually Jang has had a really good game so far at that left side of the back line. Tellez is not an easy prospect to mark, so credit to him.
Anytime Bazzini puts his boot through one right now, you're thinking maybe there's a chance. Jones won the first ball and the third ball after Hamada came up forward. There's Tellez and Jang, truly shoulder to shoulder, and it's a foul called against Fedi Tellez.
Who climbed high and into the back of BlackRock FC and gives them a free kick.
I should also mention, completing the Vermont Green FC coaching staff, goalkeeper coach Joey Sapicchio. They've got a great staff on that touch line.
Tell you what, I've had the pleasure and also pain of having to play against him in a 8v8 league, and let's just say he absolutely covers every single foot of the goal. He is phenomenal, and I've had to have a wonder strike volley just to get one past him in years.
DA testing the keeper Costa. Well, I'll tell you this, Matt, the Seacoast United game, Seacoast United started their goalkeeper coach in net because of injuries to their first two choice keepers. Imagine if the Green had to start Sapicchio in cage. You think he could handle it?
Absolutely. I actually completely mean that. I think he would be just fine.
That would be something to see.
Yep.
I know that many of the Vermont Green coaches do participate in training. Ruben Iarna, who
stage
plays as well quite competently. Chris Taylor gets in the action when he can. But Ruben Iarna just finished up his professional career in Europe. He bosses the boys around training.
It's just fun for him.
Mohamed Tal on the edge of the 18 gets a low cross away, a dangerous ball that Ndie cuts out. It finds Ndidi at the edge of the 18, and he's forced to retreat. Another dangerous moment as BlackRock goes forward. Tal cuts inside and finds Doyle. Thread goal defending. That's touched out for a corner. Threadgold handles Doyle, but surrenders the first corner kick of the day for BlackRock FC. And now their big center backs of the 6'2" Koki Hamada and the 6'3" Julio Beitar head forward to the mixer.
It just shows you it's very interesting. We'll let this corner go.
A left-footed in-swinger from Knopf. A deep ball that D'Agostini handled in the air. Didi just evades D'Agostini but gives up a green throw. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, my thought was it's just interesting. You would have thought that Seacoast or Western Mass would have been the most difficult matches to try to control for it. But so far what we've seen today is this has actually been like the most recent, most difficult prospect, actually, the most difficult match to retain possession and to consistently create attacking options for it. Versus Seacoast and Western Mass, it was a lot of possession to Vermont Green, almost like 70%, somewhere around that. And they were creating 10 different chances throughout the match, 4 shots on goal, and especially against Seacoast, it was like the ball just wouldn't go in the net for some reason. But for this one, you absolutely just can't say that, just because of this placement in the division, that this should be an easier match.
Ashford had a rampage forward, but his pass was too far in front of Tellez. Schollenberger, a midfield nutmeg, but couldn't get on the end of his Fine dribble move, and Ndie calmly puts it back under the green control. And Jones wants to go long, aiming for Tejas. Still jockeying with Jang, and Tejas does well. Now Bilal Kamal gets it on his left, has a rip, it's denied. Bazzini looking for a rebound, and he gets on the end of it. The best look for the green on a Bilal Kamal strike. And now Bazzini has earned a corner.
I thought the ball from Jones, too, was a little hopeful at best because so far that back line has actually been pretty wide, and they're marking the outside mids, D'Agostini and Tellez, really well so that their touch has to be perfect when they take it out of the air. But, you know, credit to Tellez getting control of that and then finding Kamal, and Kamal with just an inch-perfect touch.
Probo cues it up to the back post, and DA got his head to it again. He and Jones were both in the area, unmarked.
Both had the same reaction, hands up. Oh, come on, get in.
When those two boys both rise up in the air like that, it's almost like they're competing with each other for the jump ball.
Time stops just for a second or two.
They tend to float above the pack.
And, yeah, taking another look at this. Again, driven under the ball so that it floats just a little bit and you can get up. It's almost sort of difficult to actually time out those headers because the ball hangs for so long instead of that whipping ball.
Pacella rises up for a thunderous header in the midfield. Bazzini on the race, but Costa able to pounce. And Yves Bazzini always looking to strike. He can do it at a moment's notice. Schollenberger offsides. Flag up on the winger.
And that's really where BlackRock are doing a good job is so – you know, when Jones or Ndie have the ball, and you'll see Probo or Pacella come to try to get the ball, BlackRock do a really good job of that first initial press so that they have to make a decision very quickly, and that is most of the time you're actually having to go back and pass back to your center backs, to your defense, which then kind of just restarts the whole thing, and then that press can all of a sudden push up more because you just passed the ball backwards, so then all of a sudden everything's 10 feet back further.
Pacella's most recent turn to have a go. Just barely hooks it wide. Costa was worried on his line, laying out to his left. Again, the Green win the first ball in the air in the midfield. And it's played out by Beitar for a Green throw. D'Agostini battling with Muther. Threadgold is inside. Pacella backpedaling against Didi. Pressure from Doyle.
I think Didi has so far been kind of man of the match right there in the middle of the field for BlackRock. He has been everywhere. He's been the focal point of their press for it. He's caused a lot of errors from Pacella and Probo. He's given them a really, really difficult match so far.
It's rare to see Pacella and Probo struggle. Not that they've necessarily it's rare to see them not clicking and firing the ball around with ease.
Not be able to at least have like the 3 seconds to turn and then pick out those perfect passes. That's all you really need to do off the ball is just make somebody have to really, really hurry up.
Now Doyle racing with Jones, 2 Pac-12 rivals, and what a tackle from Jones. I think that's off Doyle. We'll see what the official decides. It's a goal kick.
It's absolutely off Doyle. I was going to be irate if that wasn't called that way.
The two of them battled this year. Doyle at Stanford, Jones at Washington. That is a great challenge from Jones.
Calm. Even when he's in these 1v1 situations in the box, especially where if he gets beat, that's a shot on goal and a likely goal. He looks really calm as he does it.
Kamal sends Pacella down the line. Pacella growing into this game nicely. He finds Bazzini. Bazzini headed towards the end line. Trying to cut it back. Didi there on the tackle.
Absolutely everywhere.
A returner from last year's BlackRock side. Didi, a veteran in this league, playing like it to this point. And Beitar uses his center back pairing of Hamada.
BlackRock just their lines.
Doyle's found a pocket. Looking for Mohammed Tall. That ball at an angle headed towards Schnurr, and it's easily covered in the Maple kit. Nathan Schnurr plays it easily. Well, there was that great spell from BlackRock. Over the last 5-10 minutes, it's felt like the Green have just maybe regained control a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit more. There was definitely that period of time where it looked like BlackRock were going to start creating more and more chances, more shots on goal. But they've actually looked the most threatening when they're actually on the break, when they, dispossess Vermont and they can get that quick break for Doyle.
Jones takes his space forward. Ashford skips around to tackle. Skips around another. Ashford lays it off for Tellez, and Tellez somehow off target. Ashford unlocked the defense, and Fede Tellez was in on goal, but it stays scoreless.
Amazing little run from Ashford. Take a look at this again. This amazing little run from Ashford. Beats 2 to 3 guys. Perfect little pass, just the right way for Tellez. I think Tellez just snatched at it just a little bit.
He'll want that one back, won't he?
Good play altogether, though.
The best chance for Vermont Green on the day as their chances continue to build. In a game that is close to a must-win for Vermont Green as they want to maintain their top-of-the-table advantage over challengers Western Massachusetts and Seacoast United, two perennial powerhouses who are both looming just below the Green in the standings. But here comes Tall. He got it on the feed from Doyle. Tall attacking Threadgold. Gets it on his left foot, but there's Daniel Pacella. I really think Pacella's helped the Green get back in control of this match.
Yeah, and he's growing into the match now a little bit more. It was the 20 minutes. It was kind of like it was fine. There was a couple moments where he was losing possession for it, but now he's starting to dial it in.
We've talked so much about Didi. Pacella's a little jealous. I want to be the midfielder that dominates. Bazzini checking back to the ball, plays it easily for Jones. And here's Ashford. Tellez tackled through the ball by Jang, but it's off of Jang for the throw. Bazzini, the striker, shields his man and earns a free kick in a dangerous spot.
Good job. Good job to draw out the foul from that. That's a really dangerous area now for a free kick.
Are they going to whip it in or are they going to go for the top corner?
This will look quite pretty to the left foot of Fede Tellez.
Uses his body really well.
Yep.
Just a little too much. What was that, a Jang?
Koki Hamada, the one who took him down.
Okay.
The fellow center back who at this point has been man-to-man with Bazzini. It's Tellez and Probo eyeing this up. Tellez the left foot, Probo the right.
They're lining up in the box.
And the big men are forward once again. It's Tellez with the left. He put it on target, and it's punched away by Costa. Not a bad effort from there.
Yeah, I think he was going top near corner.
He was. Sets up a corner for Probo. Here's a look. Great angle. Quickly on the corner. Bazzini on target, but it's swallowed by Costa. They have won every ball in the air on corners so far.
Yeah, so consistent on that. And, that's going to be something that BlackRock are going to be thinking about, every single time now for a corner.
BlackRock tried to break. Again, Pacella and Threadgold had it handled. And DA starts the rush again. Ashford's pass down the line. Well read by Zhang. We've played 35-plus minutes. D'Agostini gets on the ball. Cut out before it would reach Tellez, but a throw-in inside the 18. This is a BlackRock team that have absolutely challenged the top teams in the league this year. A 2-0 loss to Vermont Green, second time facing the table leaders Green.
Quick feet manages to get it past the defender.
They managed a scoreless tie against Western Massachusetts earlier this year on the road. And had multiple close matches already this season against Seacoast, including just a 1-0 loss on Friday. Throw in taken quickly by Ashford to Pacella. Tellez brings it across. The bicycle try from Bazzini. He's been taking lessons from Alfie Pope, apparently. Now a back heel from Kamal. Cut back by Threadgold. Intercepted by Didi.
And Didi there again. Beating 3 players and finding that little pass to break out.
Now the Green are starting to swarm. Tellez gets it on his left. Fede Tellez! That was touched. He just misses the target.
Starting to turn it up just a little bit now. Consistently putting threats on that goal.
You can hear it in the stands. Look at this little half turn and the strike.
And not a bad effort either. Just needed a little bit more over the top.
Man. The chances are starting to come for the Green. The last 15 minutes have been theirs. Here's another look at the bicycle try from Bazzini. That would have been audacious. He brings it down with his chest, spears it into the path of D'Agostini. The Brazilian Felipe D'Agostini can't turn the corner, but it finds Bazzini, who goes down. The referee shaking his hand at it. No foul there. Didi just powers through Pacella. And Didi starting the rush. Pacella recovers. There's Jaden Perryman, but he plays it out looking for Jang.
I tell you what, I've been watching Didi more and more now this half, and he is expressionless as he plays, and I actually kind of love it. He doesn't freak out or shout when he wins a tackle or, anything like that. It's almost like he's just an absolute machine.
Bazzini brought it off his chest, and that's going to be a Vermont Green corner. Yeah, Didi seems like your type of player.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Just Terminator out there.
Bazzini had a ridiculous try. 5 goals in 3 matches for the Israeli striker Bazzini. And now another corner kick coming. Looks like Tellez is ready to take it quickly. Preparing a left-footed in-swinger. Tellez takes. Schollenberger got a flick. It falls for D'Agostini, who drives it across. A good block made by Jang. And Doyle on the outlet. Mohamed Tall trying to break against Pacella. Doyle coming inside, gets it back. He's got a runner on the far side, and now the Green a bit stretched offensively. Knopf. D.A. got in the middle before that ball could find Schollenberger. Doyle on the edge of the 18, and Kamal has it covered. What a play by Ndie, though, to cut out that first effort.
Well, I saw Ndie going towards the ball, and Schollenberger was floating right behind him. And if who was it with the ball?
I believe it was Sam Knopf had the ball on the far side.
If he would have just passed a little bit forward, Ndie would have been out. Like, he would have just taken him out of that.
All of a sudden, this game has a bit of end-to-end action. Schollenberger picks it up, and now Doyle. He's outletting again, intended for Knopf. But there's the coverage of Musa Ndie. Kamal shielding from Didi. He goes down after getting rid of the ball as well. D'Agostini can't skip around Muther, though. And it's Liam Doyle. Doyle takes the rip, forces the save. Rebound for Schollenberger. Schnurr will retreat after his best stop of the day. Knopf, a low ball across, right to the feet of Pacella. But there's the danger of Liam Doyle. The long ball forward from Probo. Bazzini, a one-man counterattack at the moment.
And now can he hold the ball up?
Oh, my
there?
goodness. And he draws the foul.
I was going to say, can you hold the ball up and bring the rest of the team up now? He did a really great job so far. Draws the foul. That's number 9 play.
Looking for space in the middle there.
It looks like it might be a little bit of a dive for it. I don't know if he's going to want to rewatch that.
No, he might have gone down a bit easily, but the play before going down was quite special. He's earned himself a free kick and maybe a chance to attack. Probo thinking about going early. Now he'll back off. The brilliant Italian distributor chops it across. That's a
Oh, wow.
Dangerous little floater that nobody attacked.
You can see by Probo's expression, he's like, why did nobody jump up and attack that?
Probo, the team leader with 4 assists, had 14 for Creighton in the fall. That's exactly that little teasing ball on an angle that it's tough for the goalie to read, right? And in theory should be easy for an attacker to jump on.
Yeah, if you're the goalie and you're going to come out for that, then you're going to have to absolutely blow everyone up.
That doesn't sound fun. Sounds painful.
You generally don't feel it as bad as the goalkeeper.
That's probably true. The Green reloading into the final few minutes of this opening half. Both sides with scoring chances. Vermont Green the most dangerous. Blackrock FC the most recent. Probo is able to get on the end of that ball. And I believe earns a corner kick on it. He's asking for a foul, but it will be a set piece regardless. Rain continues to slowly drizzle down. Probo trying to give Vermont Green a lead late in the first half. Can he pick out anyone in the middle? Probo's lofted ball close to Costa, and he got his palms on it. The outlet intended for Knopf. Pacella and Threadgold covering. Doyle's eyes are up. DA steps in front, but the ball finds the feet of Doyle again. Tall. And Blackrock calmly under their possession. There's Ashford with a well-read interception. Tried to just power his way through the defense and could not.
Killing the attack, but Blackrock remain in possession.
DA tangled with Doyle, no foul called. And Pacella the square ball for Probo. Pacella has space down the line and options in the middle. Drives it across. It falls for D'Agostini! The Brazilian puts the Green in front. Pacella's ball across falls to the feet of Felipe D'Agostini, and the Green have the breakthrough.
And I'm trying to remember kind of where it started from it because I was a little bit lulled to sleep for a second. It seemed like it was kind of dying out, and it didn't seem like the first initial cross for it. We'll have to see a replay from it. But D'Agostini with that late run into the box, just slotting it home.
That's Ashford down the line for Pacella.
And this is where I thought that's not going to get there because it felt like the cross was just a little too close to the goalkeeper and the defender was already in front for it. But then all of a sudden, you just get that lucky little deflection off, and D'Agostini making a late run. Fantastic.
The ball across from Pacella might not eventually be his assist, Matt, but I think he's been really excellent in this first half.
Yeah, he's grown into this. It was, I think, a little bit topsy-turvy in like the first 20 minutes, but then after that, he's acclimated to the pace of the match. You know, he's started to actually have more time on the ball, and that's difficult with a player right now like Didi, who's just been on fire.
The second goal of the year for Felipe D'Agostini. He scored 9 times for Oral Roberts in the school year. Headed to Syracuse in the fall to play for defending national champion Orange. And there Pacella collides with Mo Tall. Pacella holding his face as he goes to the floor. Well, we've played a full 45 minutes in Burlington, and Vermont Green find the opener. Probably a deserved scoreline. They've had the better chances, but Blackrock are absolutely still in this match.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But what a great time to get the goal right before the half, take a rest, kind of, get readjusted, have a conversation, get Adam in the staff.
Bazzini looking for another. Kamal inside the scoring box. His shot is blocked. Beitar got in the way as Bilal Kamal was dancing. He is so due for a goal. Bilal Kamal has never scored in USL2 league play for the Green, despite being one of their program leaders in matches played. Feels like he's had more shots blocked and has hit the woodwork more than anyone else.
Yeah, you just hope that's not, something like your pre-match routine, or that you need to adjust something just to like break the seal, like it's a curse or something.
As that ball trickles over to the end line, there's the whistle for halftime. 45 minutes down, 45 minutes to go. Adam Pfeiffer and crew headed to the locker room with a second half with lots to play for. We'll come back midway through halftime for a brief update and a halftime report. Coming to you with more after this. This is Vermont Green FC Soccer.
Sometimes it's just the start of the journey that makes one follow closely behind. Sometimes it just takes one for a couple to be in the distance. Sometimes it just takes a couple with many more on their heels. Sometimes it's showing people your passion and heart that makes the journey greater every second. It's a spirit of success and to fight for what you believe in. It's grueling seconds of training. Repeat again, one more time. Sometimes it is games that feel like they will never end. And sometimes it's games that you don't want to end. It's what you do after the 3 whistles. Sometimes it's becoming stewards of our green mountains and the lands that sit between our cleats, showing that this world won't last forever unless we cherish it like a goal in the 95th minute of the championship game. Other times, it's breaking the binds of social stigma, racial divides, and inclusion to change and expel the ugly mindsets of those who try and spoil our beautiful game. Sometimes the fight for change is harder than the toughest of defeats. But don't forget that in those moments, that's when it stops being sometimes. All the time, it's a team of players, a family of fans, a passion for a better future. It influences change in our community, in the world of football, and beyond. All the time. It's a community founded by many with the vision of one.
Amazing. That was it.
This on? Good? Great. Okay. Hey guys, I'm Maddie. This is Jake. We're part of Sun Common's marketing and activism team. As you might have seen, Sun Common has been the title sponsor for Vermont Green for the past 2 years, and we couldn't be more proud of the team and the community that they've built in our home state of Vermont. Great work, guys. At Sun Common, our mission is to accelerate the transition to solar power across our communities and build a healthy, vibrant future for each and every one of you. That's why we're actively involved in local partnerships like this one. As you know, Vermont Green is not your ordinary football club. They believe sport can act as a unique catalyst for promoting environmental and social justice. They're champions for sustainability, both on and off the pitch, and we think that's pretty amazing.
Thanks, Maddie. Hi, my name's Jake. I lead advocacy and activism for Sun Common. And again, really the reason we're here today, as Maddie was getting to, is this is about getting people off the bench and taking action to address climate change. And so my work here really is about activating all of us, Sun Common's 10,000 customers, our community partners, to really make a real difference. And we're directly working with direct policy partners such as Peter here at REV, Vermont Businesses for Social Responsibility, and others in Washington, D.C. and beyond. And so please do follow along REV, Sun Common, and others, because there's really important policy and programs coming up to get Vermont, New England, and the entire United States off of fossil fuels for a brighter future here. So I'm going to pass it over to Peter, more about that.
Hey everybody, Peter Sterling here with Renewable Energy Vermont. We're here to get Vermont to a 100% fossil fuel-free future. No more burning coal, no more burning oil, no more burning natural gas, but getting all of our power from the wind and the sun. Who's with me? That's right, that's right. Hey, first a big thanks to Vermont Green for giving us some time and dedicating so much energy to getting everyone involved. Got to say, when it comes to the climate crisis, we're in stoppage time, down a couple goals. And, if the refs are going to get serious, we're going to have to send the fossil fuel industry off the field with a red card for decades of dirty play and climate denialism. Who's with me? That's right. All right. So now we got to bring our best players forward to get Vermont off of fossil fuels. We can do this. Get everyone on wind and solar. Come follow us on social media. Come out to our table. But let's all do our part to get Vermont off of fossil fuels and onto renewables. Have a great second half, everybody. Go Vermont Green!
Vermont Green FC in front 1-0 over Blackrock FC. Brian McLaughlin and Matt Montel with you to take you to the end of halftime and get ready for the start of the second half. Matt, a first half where Blackrock definitely had their moments, but Vermont Green into the locker room in front by 1. But overall, a pretty even opening 45.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I thinking about that 45 minutes and trying to put it, into kind of just a couple thoughts. I thought that it was, as you said, more kind of back and forth, a little bit even. Like both teams shared spells of possession. I think there was a little bit of an edge to Vermont Green FC. They created a little bit more chances out of possession versus what you saw from Blackrock. It looked more like they were creating these kind of like chances that were, an error that led to like a break, and you would see like Doyle or Schellenberg, getting into these 1v1 situations, but really good, 1v1 defending from Ndie and Jones in those chances.
Let's take a look back at what eventually separated the two in the opening 45 minutes. A Felipe D'Agostini goal. Here's the ball across from Pacella.
Yeah, I think that little touch actually from Tellez, though, that got Pacella in. And then Pacella, I thought that the cross was too close to the goalkeeper, and I thought that the defender had it. But then, sometimes you create your own luck. You drive that ball in, and it takes like a little deflection for it. And D'Agostini, he never gave up on it. So that's really, credit to him. He saw that it was wide open, and he drives right in. Good finish. He sees the goalkeeper going to his right, so he goes, to his left.
And it's Vermont Green FC in front 1-0, Matt. We talked before the show how important maybe a clean sheet would be today and how important 3 points, the necessity. Look at the dance from Tellez and D'Agostini. I think they might be having fun in a bit of rain out there. But you're in a comfortable spot now with 45 minutes to play. But there were times in the first half where you were uncomfortable. Blackrock had a couple of good chances. How are you hoping to hold this clean sheet and at the end of the day come away with 3 points?
I don't think anything drastically needs to change for it. I think it's more so, what I saw Pacella and Probo start to do because they couldn't break that, those lines in the field and midfield to get it forward like another 20 feet and then get it to like Kamal or any one of the attacking midfielders on the ball more often, is one of them would start to actually hold up a little bit higher. So if Probo receives it and he's under pressure, he's got to pass actually forward instead of always having to go back. Vice versa, if it's Pacella with the ball for it. So I think, keep doing that, keep rotating that midfield a little bit, the positioning, so that you can play forward more often.
What type of changes could we expect? If the scoreline currently holds, does Vermont Green make some attacking changes? Do they add some reinforcements to their back line? What could you anticipate from the coaching staff as they try to affect things?
I honestly think that we could probably see Zengi in for one of the attacking midfielders. I think Tellez has probably been the most productive, and it feels wrong to say that when D'Agostini got the goal. Both of them have been pretty similar.
He's probably been on the ball the most, though.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like, he's seen the ball a lot. He's been the one that's been, like, driving in when he receives it out of the air from, these long balls from Jones or Ndie, and then actually finding Kamal as often as possible. And I think it's been a little bit less on the left-hand side when we were attacking, going the other way. So, yeah, honestly, it's kind of difficult to tell where you would make the change for it.
In front of a packed house at Virtue Field, Vermont Green FC looking to take all 3 points against Blackrock FC. Getting late in the USL2 regular season. Any points are massive, especially in this Vermont Green side that are trying to make the playoffs and maybe hunting a Northeast Division title. Well, Blackrock FC controls out of the halftime locker room. Mohamed Tal tackled by Gabe Threadgold, earning the Blackrock throw up the right-hand side. What did you think of Threadgold in the first half as he and Tal really had lots of encounters down that flank?
I thought it was kind of difficult for actually Threadgold to get as forward as possible. You know, we were talking at halftime that BlackRock FC backline hasn't joined into the attack much at all. Even when they had possession, they actually held very firm right at that halfway line if they were in possession. So it was difficult for players like Tellez and D'Agostini to find space out wide because they would actually mark them really well. And if those players are already out wide, then it's kind of difficult for Threadgold and Ashford to get in and create those overlaps around and then find the cross in. So, you know, it's we'll see how it kind of plays out. If BlackRock, you know, they're down 1-0 at this point, are they going to try to throw, you know, the proverbial kitchen sink at it, which will create more space in behind?
Going to be interesting to see how they adjust. Ashford, who had a couple of voyages inside and up the pitch.
That's a great ball from Probo.
Kamal picks it up just too far in front of Bazzini. Schollenberger's touch, heavy, pounced on by the green midfield. And back for Ashford. There's Tellez in possession. Look at the space for Jones and Ndie. Under no pressure at that back line for the green. D'Agostini's ball finds Probo. Now Kamal asks for it. Stretches and receives, but can't control. Daniel Pacella. Jake Ashford, future teammates in the fall, with Ashford announcing his transfer to the University of Vermont.
Yeah.
Exciting for the Catamount fans out there. They've got the likes of Yaniv Bazzini, Daniel Pacella, and Ashford in this match.
He'll be right at home.
I would anticipate a spot on the back line for Ashford along with Zach Barrett. Ashford, in theory, a pretty easy replacement for Noah Egan, who's now in the professional levels in the Chicago Fire organization. BlackRock starting to push the ball up the field. Knopf asking for Schollenberger to head down the line, and Ashford uses his keeper Schnurr.
Sends it back to Schnurr, sends it back to Ashford. Cool head to the back.
Schnurr had a big save in the first half, at one point down to his right. Has played the ball well with his feet all day. Hasn't seen as much action on his net as Costa has on the other side.
No, but, you know, that's part of being a goalkeeper. Sometimes you're only called upon maybe once or twice in a match, and you've got to show up. You've got to, you know, actually make the save or come out and claim the ball for it. And that's difficult sometimes when you're sitting still or not seeing a lot of action for 45 minutes.
Jones nods it back for Schnurr. Those two work together well. Especially, there are games where Vermont Green keepers barely even touch the ball. I would imagine that's a difficult part of being a keeper when you can have no action, like you were just saying, and then all of a sudden forced into a flurry of moments.
Well, that's the mental side, you know, of being a goalkeeper more than, you know, the mental.
D'Agostini gets it from Bazzini. An important block from Beitar, but it's a corner kick for the green.
But yeah, you're as a goalkeeper, especially if you're not seeing a lot of action, you're not making stops, you're not coming out and having to claim the ball off lots of corner kicks and all those kinds of things, is staying focused, reading the game from that position too, because you see everything in front of you.
A good look there at the D'Agostini chance. The Brazilian has been electrifying when on the ball. Probo takes a short option. Fede Tellez comes and gets on it. He clips it back across. Beitar rises up and beats Ndie to it. BlackRock trying to break, but Probo slows up any possible counter. Ashford covering with Doyle. It comes to Schollenberger after Costa launched up the field and an offsides against the Stanford Cardinal, Liam Doyle.
It's a good step from the back line. That's actually a difficult offsides trap to pull when it's that tight.
Here goes D'Agostini. Doesn't dip into his bag of tricks, instead just drops for Threadgold. Ndie Fede Tejas. He's willing to attack on the dribble. Back and forth from Bazzini. A good combo. Tejas, a whipped right-footed ball across that Beitar cuts out. A good 1-2 from Tejas and Bazzini. Probo wins it back after the challenge from Schullenberger. A back heel ping-pongs around before it's cleared by Hamada. There's the partnership of Jones and Ndie. They've just fit together so nicely.
Yeah, I really like the way those two play together. They cover each other really well, and then they also link up really well. And just like that moment right there where there was no fear just because you had Doyle putting pressure.
Bazzini on the attack. Didn't miss the bar by much. Yaniv Bazzini hunting for a team best 6th goal.
And I think that was his first really clear-cut chance at actually no, he did have a header in the first half for it, but him, taking that little step over and having a clean shot with his foot.
Especially on his more powerful right, testing that man right there, Pablo Costa. Tejas wins the ball over Didi. Pacella scrapes it away from Perryman. Forward for Bilal Kamal. The green are breaking. D'Agostini, the ball just too far in front from Kamal. D'Agostini rolls it towards the sideline and chops it across. Tejas tried to shield it. Muther takes it away from D'Agostini. And Schullenberger plays it wide for Tall. Great recovery from the green.
I was a little surprised BlackRock didn't press the entire team into that attack. You saw Schullenberger holding the ball, looking left and right to see if there was players that were going to bomb forward and get forward so he could play the ball forward, and nobody else really joined into that attack. And you're down 1-0. You've got to go for it.
A team that have at times sputtered on the attacking end. They have not been a prolific goal-scoring group, but Mohamed Tall shows good pace, ricochets that one off of Jones, and that's a corner. They were shut out on Friday against Seacoast, have been previously shut out by Albany Rush, Western Mass, and Pathfinder FC. 4 times this year, this side has been shut out. But with the addition of Liam Doyle back in the lineup, the offense in recent games has definitely been a bit more prolific. Scoring a pair of goals in a tie against Albany Rush, 1 goal against Pathfinder FC 2 games ago. Now they've got a chance from the corner flag. It will be a left-footed in-swinger, Hyun Sang Jang, queuing it up. He whips it to the near post, and DA got a flick, falls to the back post, cleared off the line, and Schnurr has a save, still loose in the penalty area. Knopf pumps it out wide, cut back across, over the head of Beitar, and Tejas gets it clear. Ashford and Schnurr holding their goal line.
And that's, right there, staying mentally sharp the whole time. Schnurr just getting called upon for a last-ditch save. Really good technique, textbook.
And the green, some deep breaths after dangerous moments from the BlackRock corner. Kamal nipping at the heels of Didi, and he fouls it. Here's a look at that most recent corner.
It's a good ball in, too. Dangerous. That flick on is really dangerous, and there.
It was Ashford initially, and then Schnurr, a strong two-handed stop. He was sure to punch it away with authority.
Well, time stops when, especially, off a corner, it flicks on back, back past that first person, and then it's all of a sudden right in the mixer for it. And that's really where it's even your best positioning, sometimes that just falls right to the feet of the attacking player.
Hard to keep your feet moving when it's bouncing around like that. DA's ball off the mark towards Bazzini and D'Agostini. Bazzini working hard to win it back, pressures Lucas Muther, the right back. But I think he fouled him. He did. Beitar, Muther, D'Agostini upping the press. And Beitar forks that one out of play.
Really good pressure from Vermont there, just forcing that error, and that's the whole team actually going together. You can't actually put a high press if it's only 2 or 3 players. It has to be the whole team.
Is that hard to practice, a high press like that?
Yes, it's difficult to get the entire team to buy into it, especially, doing that in different phases of a match when you've got a 1-0 lead and it's, the 75th minute or the 80th minute and you're thinking about the 3 points and the win.
Because there's
to
some
get everyone
risk
to buy
involved
into it. Exactly.
with buying
yeah,
in,
you're
right?
opening yourself up to like these quick counters behind. So, right now it's a little bit easier to buy in and everyone to do that and feel comfortable doing that. But later on in the match, if it's still the same score, that's when it gets, mental fortitude.
Doyle finds Schollenberger, and DA comes across, and Schnurr, just in time, races out to make the play. Off of a bit of a Pacella turnover in the midfield, there's Blackrock dangerous on the break. Schnurr and DA just getting themselves organized after that brief moment of maybe some peril.
I think I saw Schnurr telling him, it's like, feel free to actually take that and take that wide for it. That worked out at that time, but he's telling Ndia, he's like, you're in place here, it's just fine, because he let it go for Schnurr. He's like, no, that's all you if you want that. Take that and take that wide, to safety.
It is back under the green possession. Ndia, who we've seen both in the midfield and along the back line this year, finds Ashford. He cuts inside again. Then gets a bit heavy on his touch. Somehow keeps it under control. Pacella eyes up. The pass in front of Probo. Threadgold's there on the backup. Giorgio Probo looking for the long ball with Tejas the target. Well read by Jang. That long ball across the field on a diagonal has just not been there. And DA fouled by Schollenberger. We're used to seeing that ball land perfectly from Probo. It just hasn't quite been an option today.
Well, that's also because, like we talked about, that back line has been so wide. Like, look at right now D'Agostini, how tight he's been marked. Same thing with Jang. Jang, I thought, did a really good job in that the first half of trying to mark Tellez. And Tellez had to actually be perfect every single time that he pulled the ball out of the air. So, those balls that we've seen from Probo for it, those were generally when the players had a little bit more space, a little more time, so you can drop it into like a 10-foot by 10-foot box. It's like, all right, I want it to land right there. That'll be easier for them to take from it. But right now, that's been difficult to do.
Ashford trying his best to go down the line. Knopf tackles him down and does so cleanly. The referee shaking his head back and forth at Ashford, who remains down in the field. Doyle working his way forward. D'Agostini recovers and then slides in on Doyle. There's the Brazilian.
Had to get that just right because he was flying in.
It just comes out of him sometimes.
Yep.
A little bit of an extra spark there.
I don't know many at the professional highest level Brazilian players that don't have that in their locker.
It's just a little something extra about those Brazilians, isn't there?
Yeah, they love to put in a strong tackle.
Bazzini goes to ground. He has it taken off of him by the center back, Hamada. Hamada trying to feed Doyle. That's not the strength of Koki Hamada, who plays in Hawaii out west. Two-time All-Pac West third team.
I'd like to play in Hawaii.
Not a bad spot to play. Jones splits the defense, and D'Agostini coming inside. Pressured by Muther. D'Agostini's ball. Too much on it for Bazzini.
I think he got in between two mindsets there. He was looking for the cross. I think he saw somebody was going to make that run, and then they darted in, and then it was almost maybe a shot.
DA challenges Schollenberger. Jones stabbing at it against Doyle. It falls to Schollenberger, but there's Musit and DA on the recovery. Ashford was in the vicinity as well. Has to be nice having Jake Ashford just as your right back. You always know he's going to be responsible on the defensive end.
Yeah, exactly. It's, captain consistent.
He's the Rolls Royce.
Yeah, the Rolls Royce.
I need to figure out what type of car Nate Jones is. Something big.
Bronco.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new Ford Bronco. Rugged, but, a smooth ride all the same.
Powerful when it needs
powerful,
to be.
Exactly.
I like it.
And DA is like what are those 4x4 desert dune buggies?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to go that route for Musa and DA.
Fast, rugged.
Yet skillful.
Yes, exactly. Can turn on a dime.
Kamal caught on his heels, and that leaks by him for a BlackRock throw. Just a Felipe D'Agostini goal late in the first half sent this packed house into hysterics. Rain jackets and umbrellas donned on their heads. Still just a bit of a sprinkle outside.
I think it's actually perfect soccer weather. There's no sun in your eyes for it. It's not
cool.
pouring down. Yeah, exactly. It's the right temperature. It's a little slick out there, so the ball moves nice.
There's a look at the D'Agostini tackle again. He comes in and just picks the pocket of Doyle. Jang back in play. Right to Ashford, but Ashford gives it up for Doyle. Doyle spins it wide for Tall. A good first touch. Threadgold in front of Tall. He'll angle inside. Muther on the overlap. Doyle tackled by Ndie. But a poor touch from Tejas. And Jang has some room down the left side. He whips one in towards Doyle, but Jones got the defensive header in. BlackRock continue to threaten. And here come the first changes. Vermont Green FC going to their bench first. As you predicted, Matt, or at least thought would be a possibility, Zach Zangi going to enter in the attacking midfields. Let's see how his pace changes the game. He's on for Bilal Kamal, and a like-for-like swap. Zangi enters right at his very comfortable number 10.
Yeah, I think it's a like-for-like swap, that they're very similar players in the way that they play. I think Zengi's just got maybe just a touch more pace when he has the ball at his feet, versus Kamal is very much looking like to provide, and he's looking for the pass, where Zengi will do that, but Zengi also will very much take a player on.
So Vermont Green go to their bench first. BlackRock FC sticking with their starting 11, trailing by a goal. They're looking to pick up what would be a massive point or multiple on the road. Probo skips around the Perryman challenge. D'Agostini, that's Yaniv Bazzini who has ranged wide. A little triangle forms with D'Agostini. And Bazzini clipped by Didi.
And this could be dangerous.
Right on the edge of an area where the Green can provide some service, but they decide to put it back in play quickly.
Yeah, I think it was just like a little too far out for a cross. That would be a floating cross into the box for it, and it's just, just recycle possession.
What a pass from Ndie. Daniel Pachella. Pachella lays it off for Tejas. And a great tackle from Jang again. He has gone stride for stride with Fede Tejas often. It is a Green corner. Good combo from the Green in the midfield.
But you're starting to see now that midfield is holding a little bit of a higher position now in the attack. There's a little more patience in the passing. You saw Probo check in. He drops the ball back to looks like Ndie, and then he takes a player with him. Probo takes a player with him, which opens up the space behind him, and then Ndie sees it, passes it to it, and then you've got a chance on goal.
Jones got a chance, but it again is just off target. Tejas' ball to the back post was a good one, and Jones again unmarked, just can't hit the frame. Another look at it.
Yeah. The only thing that's difficult about that technique and that type of corner is it's hard to generate a lot of power, and you have to time your jump when you're jumping up instead of forward.
Doyle's touch heavy. Musa Ndie is always ready to jump on an errant touch. A 1-goal lead for Vermont Green. Something they'll certainly be pleased with, but won't be comfortable. Ashford getting a bit fancy. Forces Tejas to throw in a challenge to win it back. The tackle from Knopf bumps it out of play. It is a Green throw.
Tejas with a quick turn.
Fouled. The assistant referee spotted it as, again, the battle between Hyun Sang Jang and Federico Tejas has been a fun one to watch.
I think Jang's done a good job still, but I think he's
so.
been given more of a problem in this second half now from Tellez. Tellez seems to kind of been growing into a little bit more in this second half now, and you've seen like there was already, I think, 2 different chances that he's starting to have on goal. He's starting to actually beat him on the inside into the 18.
Both Probo and Tellez thinking about this corner, or excuse me, this free kick. Probo asking for the 10 yards.
Few steps back, Blackrock.
Tellez the left foot, Probo has the right. It's Giorgio Probo. A lofted ball to the back post. Ashford got on it. He climbed over the back of that Blackrock defender who remains down on the ground. That was Ashford hunting one. And now a whistle stops the play just to check on that Blackrock player.
Yeah, let's see if we can see maybe where the contact happened for it. Again, it's a floating ball to the back post. It's Ashford who gets up on it. And I think maybe, he just rolls his ankle a little bit on the way down. Looks like it'll be okay, Doyle.
So the striker back defending. Doyle at 5'11", pretty good size, can match up with the 6-foot Jake Ashford. Jones calls for it. Everyone else backs away. Beitar's header towards Probo, but he couldn't connect with D'Agostini. Tall, I believe, got fouled as Probo yanked on his jersey from behind. It is a Blackrock free kick. Now starting to get into that nervous time of game, right?
Yeah, just around, once it gets to, the 75th, towards the 80th minute, and it's still 1-0, that's when you're going to start to see there might be a little bit more emphasis on a defensive shape versus trying to, get a lot of bodies into the attack.
Pacella and Ndie do well to pinch it away from Doyle. But the Green can't hold possession. Didi back on it. He slides it for Schollenberger. Schollenberger's eyes are up but runs into traffic as Pacella wins the ball and gets fouled in the process. And the Green starting to prepare a few more substitutions. It looks like Alexander Levingood, who's headed to San Diego State in the fall, as long as, I believe, Chris Myers, ready to make his Vermont Green FC debut, and Alfredo Bozalongo, who played at William & Mary with Alexander Levingood, and, of course, a returner from last year's Vermont Green FC team that made the playoffs, to make his 2023 debut. He got injured late in the William & Mary Tribe season, has just now recovered. But those substitutions will wait. Pacella does well to shield Didi, but Didi eventually clips it away from him for Tall. Vermont Green changes waiting. Tall striding forward. Probo tries to drag him to the ground. It goes out wide. Doyle skipping to the edge of the 18. His pass behind Didi. Perryman gets on it and slings it into a wide area for Knopf. Ashford in front of him. On the ground for Schollenberger. He cuts it back on Ndie. And the ball dribbles across, and it will be out for a goal kick.
Yeah.
But Giorgio Probo going to be booked. He's shown a yellow card.
It's the second one for it, and that actually might, warrant a change in the midfield at some point because it's so important in this match especially that having your midfielder on a yellow means that he has to second guess every tackle that he's going to be making.
You wonder if he's coming out for Alfredo Bozalongo anyway.
Yep, I think that's exactly what's happening. Adam's looking to freshen up the side from it, just add that extra bit of pace. Right now, so far, Blackrock haven't made any substitutions, or it looks like maybe there was just one.
Just made their first. We're working on exactly who that is off their bench.
3 substitutions from one Green. Goal scorer D'Agostini coming off.
D'Agostini and Tellez both exiting. Levingood comes on.
So
Myers.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Myers going to play at this right wing spot, wide of Zangi in front of Ashford. Levingood on for D'Agostini, so he's on the left-hand side. And Bozalongo is on, as we suspected, for Giorgio Probo in that 6th spot alongside Pacella.
Yep. Levingood's an Aztec, huh?
He's headed to the Aztecs in the fall. He was the leading scorer for William & Mary this last year.
Gotcha.
Out in front of Diba Nuegbo and Nathan Messer. He led that team in goals.
Fun fact, both my mother, my father, and my brother all graduated from San Diego State.
No way.
Yeah.
So they'll be cheering on Alex Levin.
I'll let them know, yeah.
Bazzini, a nifty run forward, tries to keep it in play. He wants a corner out of it, and he's earned it. Charles Little, the man on at the right-handed wing spot, by the way, for BlackRock FC. That's their change. And I believe he's on for Sam Knopf. Corner taken from Zangi. That's a whipped ball to the near post that got away from Ashford. There's the first touch for Little. Myers, nutmegged by Didi. Didi trying to shoulder him away and dragged down by Jake Ashford, the green captain, wasting no chances. Didi frustrated, the two captains, their first real interaction today. Didi, I would imagine, asking about a potential booking off that bit of a mix-up.
Yeah, I think I could agree with that. But it was that's what you call a professional foul.
Ashford again throws in a challenge. Tall skips by it. Still Mohamed Tall on the edge, takes the shot and scores. Mohamed Tall has it even.
Quite lovely run, dancing past defenders.
The first of the year for Tall. He cut in from the sideline in a shot that had Schnurr off balance.
And it looked like right there, indeed he didn't want to commit the challenge, which I understand because that's going to be a foul in the box for it. It's a bobbling ball a little bit. Difficult because I think Schnurr saw going one way, but then it started, he saw that the shot was going to come out and his feet were stuck a little bit. It's a good finish altogether.
And now tense moments. Vermont Green need all 3 points today, otherwise they fall in jeopardy of losing their advantage over Western Mass and Seacoast United. Does Yaniv Bazzini have anything up his sleeve? There's Threadgold. Bazzini now with Levingood on that left-hand side. Bazzini skips through one tackle. It's pounded out of play by Muther for a green throw. Vermont Green have dropped points at home this season, but both were losses against top challengers, Western Massachusetts and Seacoast United. It's been a weird phenomenon this year, Matt, where the top teams have dropped points at home. They've been nearly unbeatable on the road. Levingood finds Threadgold. Threadgold towards the back post. Zangi unable to get solid contact on it, and he fouled the defender in the process.
Yeah, sometimes you play a little bit more like kind of free-flowing and in the attack when there's a little less emphasis at home.
And this is a BlackRock group that have been very good away from home. Again, they already tied Western Massachusetts once this year, stealing points from one of the top 3 sides. As it stands, entering today, Vermont Green in the driver's seat in the Northeast Division, where there are 3 challengers for 2 playoff spots. Bozalongo rises up and wins the ball from Doyle in his first effort. Pacella back and forth from Levingood. I'm excited to see if Levingood can impact the game. There's a great ball from Pacella, and Levingood's on it. He has it knocked away by Muther, and I believe that is a goal kick. It's off of Levingood. How will Myers and Zangi and Levingood work, as it is 3 changes in the attacking midfield that Adam Pfeiffer and his staff have made? It's been a while since there's been a big Vermont Green chance.
Yeah, just at least like a good solid 10 or 15 minutes so far before there's actually been like a clear shot on goal.
And D.A. thumps it in Bazzini's direction. He gets a flick on the ball, but that will only settle to the feet of Costa.
And they've done a really good job of actually kind of dictating what Bazzini can do and what he cannot do. And so far, he hasn't been able to have like any space to really dribble 1v1, facing goal and actually be able to create himself like a shot on goal. He's so far had to try to, either flick the ball on and find a player, or he's had to go backwards.
Doyle won the ball against Ndie, but Jones chops his pass away. Levingood gets it from Pacella, and now Threadgold. His eyes are up, and Levingood racing forward. That's a good ball. Alexander Levingood is on it. He's got numbers in the middle. Levingood across. There's Bazzini. He's denied. Rebound towards Myers. It's the shot from Bozalongo that just is off the mark. What a save from Costa, denying a bullet from Yaniv Bazzini.
And so far, Levingood right now has really kind of been making a difference coming in. He's been, he's laying the ball off, but then he's immediately taking these diagonal runs in behind his mark. And that's a great, great find to Bazzini, and really good on Bazzini's part to actually keep that down and under control.
I think that rattled the keeper, Pablo Costa. He's remaining in the game, but took a thump. Well, there's Bazzini.
I wonder if it was just maybe.
I think he eats that one almost off the chin. And then Bozolongo eventually drags it wide with the left. And another change for the green. Nacho Larache has come on for Daniel Pacella. So Zangi going to drop back in the defensive midfield alongside Bozolongo. Larache's turn to operate at the 10. Zangi running away with the ball. What a nifty move that is. Zangi could not keep it in play, though. Doyle evading Jones, now turning on Ndie. Ndie ushering him wide where Charles Little steps to the ball. Back for Doyle. Didi. Perryman a good first touch. And Doyle a pocket. Zangi nipping at him, but it's back for Perryman. Jones, the takeaway, but nobody could get to it. And that's going to leak all the way through for Schnurr.
Good quick throw to Levingood there.
Levingood. Now Zenge.
Jones step up, finds Levingood. Good first touch, and now Bazzini can open his stride. He's looking for Nacho Larache. Larache has it, cutting to his right. Nacho Larache takes the shot. It's saved by Costa.
I'll never necessarily criticize a strike, a forward for taking a strike from it, but I did see, I think it was Levingood sitting right at the top with both sides of the goal that he could have had a shot on, and I wanted to see if he would just lay it off to him for that shot.
You said it already. I think Levingood has made an instant impact.
Instant. Yep, absolutely.
He's been dangerous. And it almost looks like the Green are going to kind of a back three, Matt, with Ashford and DA and Jones. Am I reading into something there? Or are they using Myers and Threadgold almost as wingbacks?
I think it's more so you're going to start to see Zengi will, off the ball, start a little bit deeper, but then the second they start to get into possession, now you can see Bozolongo is going to sit deeper, Zengi's going to join in, so that two-man midfield in there. But I think it's still a back four technically. It's just now it's tied 1-1. You need the win pretty much. So now you're going to start to see players like, Threadgold are going to take more of a chance moving forward.
It does appear as if more changes are on the horizon for BlackRock FC. Here's Larache, Bazzini, back and forth. Nacho Larache skipping through. It's Nacho, a hammering shot that again Costa's just able to smother.
And BlackRock are sitting off just a little bit too much lately on these last couple chances for it. Instead of putting in the tackle, they're trying to actually just usher the players into different spaces. But so far, Vermont, those players, Nacho Larache there and Bazzini and Threadgold, Levingood are actually, they're taking their chance. They're driving into it on those 1v1 chances and getting the shots off.
Nacho Larache already having words with our official. As Costa was slow to climb to his feet, there is a change waiting for BlackRock FC. Another look at the Larache strike. He's wasted no time since entering either, and that one you could see, again, caught a thick piece of Costa, who's now starting to stockpile his saves.
I think something's going on with his hips or his leg. I'm not sure. He doesn't look comfortable.
Well, Nacho has been quick to test him. The man to exit is Jang. Joining the action, number 12, Alvin Kamua. Kamua at left back for Jang. Bozalongo went after that header. Couldn't make the pass to Zangi cleanly. First touch for Kamua finds Didi. Routinely back for Beitar. Thumps clear towards Ndie. Ashford throws in a challenge on the goal scorer, Tall. It finds Doyle. Liam Doyle left the ball behind him, and Ndie scoops it up. Musa Ndie looking long. Lareche's header tried to find Bazzini. Could have gone wide to Levengood, it felt like.
That's what I thought he was going to do, is that he was actually just going to flick it on for Levengood that was bombing forward.
The Green fans hungry for a go-ahead goal late. Still plenty of time left in this match. Didi. Doyle. Doyle has it on his right. He takes a rip, and Schnurr a body save. That was knuckling, and Schnurr did well to keep it out.
Yeah, that was really difficult. I had a really, really good view, a good angle from here, and that was moved 2 different times off of the foot.
A poor touch from Tall leaves it out for the Green throw-in. Well, Matt, last night I was watching, according to the USL2 power rankings, the top 2 teams in the country, Chicago City SC and the Des Moines Menace. There were 3 goals after the 82nd minute in that game. So there's still lots of time left in this one.
I was looking at the Ballard FC match. I think it was 2 nights ago for it. That was another, I think, 3-2.
Bozalongo behind the defense. Flag down for Levengood. It's side netting. Alex Levengood. It was deflected. It's a corner. What a ball from Bozalongo that was, and Levengood a great touch.
I tell you what, if Levengood keeps this up, though, I do think he's going to get one, because so far he's had 2 clear-cut chances and he's created 2.
With the big boys forward, Zangi lofts it deep. Jones heads it down, and it's pounded in! The captain, Jake Ashford! The Green lead! That's Captain Clutch!
And that signature driven ball, that undercut, and Jones does a great job of putting it right down in the most dangerous area, falls onto the ground into the 6-yard box. Take another look at this. That floating ball to Jones on the back. They know he's going to get up for it, and he puts it down perfect for Ashford.
Muther keeping Ashford onside, the second of the year for the Green captain. A striker in his own mind.
I'm telling you, I think he's going to love playing in this position.
Not many bigger goals this year than that one right there from Jake Ashford. The assist will go to the big man, Nate Jones. And there is major frustration from the Blackrock side after they give up a go-ahead goal. The ball won by Doyle, and now Tall against Myers. Tall gets upended. Nothing in it. It's a goal kick. Well, we knew that the Green were dangerous on those corners, Matt. It was about time they were able to punctuate one.
Consistently winning the first ball every single time. You know, there was the only reason that it hadn't gone in the net yet was just because they hadn't gotten it on target. But if you're just constantly still winning them, you get 10 chances. You know, there's been 7-8 corners for it. It's like one of them is going to go in.
Or you're going to get a bounce to a foot like that.
Just anything.
The Green will take it, and now here come changes from Blackrock FC as they're now chasing the points on the road. 3 massive points up for grabs as Blackrock have gone away from home and absolutely threatened, as of now, the Northeast Division leaders. Junior Happy has entered at striker, a powerful striker from the Northwood School. They've also added Giuseppe Santacroce into their midfield's unit. Didi remains in the game with captain armband. Ashford's tackle brings some oohs and ahs from the crowd as he takes it away from Santacroce.
Contender for the maple syrup man of the match. We'd love to see Jake.
A Green throw.
Still got time, Tom Proctor. Don't be talking about the maple syrup yet.
We were just saying there have been lots of late goals in this league of late. Chris Myers, for a moment, had it taken away from Hamada. Didi, so cool under pressure.
Great touch from Doyle.
Doyle, he is a really solid talent up top for them. Little, with Threadgold on his back. Threadgold wins the throw-in.
All right, boys.
Gabe Threadgold never the man to back down either.
Vermont Green get a throw-in on the far side.
Bazzini,
Genie with a good turn. Stays with
the
it.
Green asking for it,
it's
and
a
they win
throw
it.
to the Green.
And now how can the Green manage a match? How will they wind the clock while also not taking their foot off the gas?
You know, one thing after watching them now for just under 2 seasons for it is I've never seen them play in like 2 low blocks and just sit there and just take corner, cross after cross after cross. Like they have a style that they want to play, and they're always going to attack into the last minute of the match. So I don't think there's going to be much of a change.
Bozalongo's ball too tall for Nacho. Scooped up by Costa. He'll outlet it early to Kamua. Alvin Kamua. That ball behind the well-built Junior Happy. And here goes Zangi. Zangi's pace can beat the defense. Zach Zangi has options. Chooses Alex Levengood. Levengood gets it on his right, takes the shot. It took a wild deflection and goes out for a corner.
And that's what I was talking about with Zengi is, when he takes the ball from deep and he dribbles so fast with it that it's really difficult to put in a challenge on him.
Just glides away from people. And the Green now have the ability to take their time on the corner. Look at this Levengood strike. Oh, man. Not wide by much. Bozalongo and Bazzini are at the corner flag. It looks like they're preparing to play it short, and they will. Ashford given lots of room. Ashford wants to whip it in, blocked by Happy. It's a Green throw.
And it's out for a throw into the Green.
And the Green are fine playing conservatively when they have it at this end of the field. Ashford and Nacho playing it back and forth. Oh boy. Now Didi and Nacho go forehead to forehead. And the officials come in quickly to clean that up.
Now it's time to focus, though. The center ref needs to take control of this match, though.
Blackrock
he cannot be having a conversation with the player about that without stopping the play.
And the ball is back in play while the referee was not even watching. And now Jones takes a shove from behind from Happy. The referee was not even watching when Blackrock put the ball back into play. He didn't have a look on the ball until it was across midfield. I can't believe he allowed them to play that ball while he was discussing things with LaRache.
No, he'll definitely have a conversation with his colleagues about, not having that happen again. But if you're going to have a conversation with the players, trying to tell them, you can't be doing this, whatever it is, reprimand them, give them a yellow, you have to stop the play because then something like this happens, which is actually dangerous.
And he was so out of position because he allowed the play to continue that he does not see the shove on the other end.
Right.
Here's what Nacho LaRache is upset about. He and Didi then go forward to forehead. Bazzini then comes in with a shove. And then Blackrock put the ball back in play while our officials were having a conversation with 3 Vermont Green FC players. On the other end of the field, Happy then gave Jones a 2-handed shove in the back, which Vermont Green weren't happy about. And all the while, Adam Pfeiffer has been in the ear of the 4th official on the far side, making sure that all of this is jotted down and maybe just shown to the league office.
Right, and I'm sure he's sharing the same thoughts that we had just communicated. But listen, mistakes happen for it. Shake it off, whatever. It's gone now. But in the future, that can't happen.
There's the look at the shove on Jones. That's a foul on Happy. I don't think there's anything extra that would warrant a booking. More the rest of that play all built up felt like it was a bit mangled. Bozalongo wins the ball in the air. Little brings it down for Blackrock. We've played 90 complete minutes into stoppage time. Vermont Green trying to hold on for a massive 3 points at home. Little gets it wide after a deflection from Levengood. He'll drop it all the way back for the center back, Julio Beitar. Now Hamada. And here are the Greens sitting in a bit more with those 2 blocks defensively. Amua. Doyle has a pocket. His eyes are up and swings it for Muther. Muther drags Threadgold wide. Now he cuts inside. Has it on his right. Finds Doyle. And Chris Myers puts in a strong challenge. Perryman, he sets it up. Takes a rip.
I thought that had enough top spin on it that was actually going to drop.
A real chance from Perryman. How much stoppage time will we play is the next question. Vermont Green led early. An equalizer from Mo Tall. Even the score for Blackrock before Captain Clutch, Jake Ashford, registered his 2nd goal of the year to give Vermont Green the lead. Kamua in a foot race with Bazzini. Bazzini avoids contact and it trickles to Chris Myers. In his debut, the Washington Husky navigates centrally with Ashford. Ashford clips it intended for Bazzini, and Myers gets back on the ball. He'll usher it out for a Green throw. Myers willing to shield it against Didi. Tackled down, Green ball. And Didi, the Blackrock captain, frustrated, throws his shoulder into Myers and is shown a yellow.
Yeah, I think that's just 90 minutes of kind of dissent on a lot of decisions by the center ref there. And a little too late to be giving out a yellow, but
Ashford has some options. Throws it to the chest of Bazzini. And it's off of Bazzini. Blackrock have a throw-in. They've got a long way to work it up the field. All their attacking options in. Well done by Bozalongo in the air. And again, Myers doing a great job helping the Green kill this thing. It's out off of Ashford. The throw-in will be taken by Kamua. Didi. Kamua. Looking long. Blackrock starting to show their desperation. Didi and Ashford tangle. Again, the 2 men wearing the captain's armbands have an interaction. It finds the right back, Muther. Cuts it inside on Levengood. Stumbles a bit against LaRache, but Muther keeps it. Didi calling for the ball along the near side. Hamada chips it deep. Happy. That's well done by Musa and Dia, and it falls to the feet of Ashford.
And I think Jones and Ndiaye would actually be really happy that they're choosing to just basically float these long balls for it's all you have to do is go up and win it generally.
Bazzini wins a free kick with the big man Julio Beitar on his back.
Last thing they want is honestly, a good, smaller ball in front of them where then all of a sudden the player can turn and then they're dribbling at them. That's when it starts to get a lot more difficult.
Bozalongo will allow it. Looks like Nate Jones to take this. Again, Adam Pfeiffer asking the 4th official to check his watch. Jones ball towards Nacho LaRache, and Levengood headed to the corner flag. Cut out. It is off of Levengood for a Blackrock throw. The Green counting the seconds as they look to stay top of the table with a win. The late Jake Ashford goal, to this point the difference. Nate Schnurr has made some big second half saves. Levengood thought he'd won it back, but fouls Didi.
I can't imagine there's much more time because we haven't had much stoppages at all in this second half.
Who's to say? Didi with a brilliant move on Bazzini. Now he can swing it into the direction of Hamada. Hamada up the line for Kamua. The Green scrambling over with Zangi in front. The pass, tough to handle. It skipped away from Santa Croce. And now here goes Myers. Myers and outside of the football for Bazzini. He's got LaRache. It's Yaniv Bazzini! An exclamation point. The man who will not stop scoring.
And that, Brian, is match.
Icing on the cake. Yaniv Bazzini has 6 in 4 matches.
And I feel bad because the whole time that Myers had the ball, I was saying, go to the flag, go to the flag, go to the flag, eat up the time, eat up the time. Nope. He decides with a little outside of his left foot to find Bazzini, gets the assist, and Bazzini with a great, great finish, a low finish to the bottom right.
That is a backbreaker. Bazzini has not had many chances today. He finally found some open real estate. And he just is not going to be denied.
No. And it's, he's had a tough match, honestly, for him. He hasn't been able to create like a lot of chances. He hasn't been able to get a lot of shots off, But that's what great strikers do. All the way through the entire match, they never give up.
BlackRock now down by a pair. Happy shields Zengi from the ball, knocked off of him by Bazzini. Happy just bouldering his way through bodies, and Bazzini makes the tackle. BlackRock forced to play it backwards. Again, we've played well over 90 minutes, awaiting for the referee's final whistle to clinch what is currently the 3-point day for Vermont Green. They would climb to 27 points, and depending what happens in the Seacoast United match that kicks off in 5 minutes at 3 p.m.
Hold on, Brian.
Nacho LaRache might want to join the action. Nacho gets it on his right. He rings the Pope.
Oh!
And Bazzini gets taken down from behind. Alvin Kamua threw in a late challenge, and he'll be booked. It's a yellow card for Kamua. And he's going to help Bazzini up, I believe. That was definitely a harsh challenge on Bazzini. I don't think Kamua meant to injure, but Bazzini will remain down for the time being.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he got like a good chunk or if it was just kind of a leading foot that tripped him. Yeah, there's some studs showing on there.
He catches him studs up on the back foot.
He'll be all right.
And now here comes Alfredo Bozalongo and Zach Zangi, maybe with one final look for Vermont Green as they've had a party down the stretch, but they'll play it short. Bozalongo sees a gap, clips it towards the near post. It takes a deflection and out for a Vermont Green corner.
So we're getting into 7 minutes of stoppage time with no stoppage really through that first 45 minutes. There was no injuries. There was no players. I mean, I guess the goalkeeper was down for maybe a minute or something, but
very brief. Bozalongo plays it for Myers off the corner. And it's a 3-1 final. Jake Ashford nets the game winner. Yaniv Bazzini adds a sixth in his fourth game played.
So the question is, who gets the maple syrup?
Who's your choice?
Ashford.
I think it's got to be Jake Ashford with that go-ahead goal. Overall, Matt, a performance where Vermont Green were tested today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was actually a really, really difficult match the entire time. I thought, there was a little bit of an edge to Vermont. But outside of that, I thought that this was more difficult from a possession base than like Seacoast or Western Mass, and I thought BlackRock did a good job for it. It was just missing maybe that just little extra in their attack for it. But, credit to Vermont, they didn't stop playing the way that they wanted to. Just like I was saying earlier, they don't play this counter-attacking style where they have two low blocks when they're out of possession for it. They press high, they try to cause errors quickly, and then they attack very, very fast.
This is the type of game that teams that go top of the table and stay top of the table need to take 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cliche, it's a must-win, but these are must-wins right now, the way that the division is playing out, too. Those top 3 teams, it's going to come down to potentially, like, goal differential.
Another look at the go-ahead goal from Jake Ashford, awaiting the official announcement on our man of the match, maple syrup performer. But that ear-to-ear grin from the captain, Jake Ashford, might be pretty telling. Matt, the boys, prior to today's Seacoast game that is kicking off as we speak, now 3 points clear of Western Massachusetts and a full 5 points clear of Seacoast United. Look, they're headed to Western Massachusetts on Friday, but a big-time win this afternoon and they are now in a real driver's seat spot with 3 matches to go.
That's the cushion that you want to going into probably it's going to be one of the most difficult matches of the season, going to visit Western Mass. And now that they have this, they can go in a little bit more relaxed and actually, go and try to just basically say, okay, we want to go for the win, but we're okay if we get the tie.
Jake Ashford, the maple syrup man of the match. Captain Clutch today. He pounds that bottle of maple syrup. 3-1, Vermont Green FC beat BlackRock FC. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in with us on this dreary Sunday afternoon in Burlington. We'll talk to you all again soon. We've got, of course, friendlies coming up and the regular season finale against Boston City FC. For Matt Montel and our entire production crew, the boys in green are dancing tonight. I'm Brian McLaughlin. This has been Vermont Green FC Soccer.